Hello and welcome to Cable Plus Property, your number one online educative platform on all issues related to land and landed properties. My name is Oiza, and as always, I always love to be here, to get you educated and informed. This is where we provide you with every information you need to know about building construction, acquisition, documentation, registration, and even obtaining your planning permit. So you can be sure that on Cable Plus Property, you're getting first-hand information on anything related to land and landed properties. In this episode, I'll be speaking with the immediate past general manager of the Lagos State Fiscal Planning Permit Authority, no other than Town Planner Funmi Osifuye. Come with me. Okay. So very quickly, sir, I'd like you to explain the following terms to our audience in very simple language. I'll take them one after the other. The first one is government acquisition.
Government acquisition relates to land and water that government has acquired basically for its use. It may be laid out in form of a scheme when it's committed, and it may not be committed. It might also be a land or any space acquired for future use. That is, and gazetted. That is what we refer to as a government acquisition.
Okay.
Nobody can go into that land to do anything, either to solve it, whatever, without getting government consent to do so. That is government acquisition, acquired land.
Village accession.
Village accession, right, is that the word village is there. That means it's a traditional area, village. But in most cases, these villagers may want to seek for expansion.
Okay.
Some of them might be acquired. When they are acquired, they want to have more to their village space. And by the time government assents to their yearnings, gives them more land, meaning that area has been excised to what ab initio they had, and to make what is known as a village accession. So they are having more to what they have initially. And therefore, it means that out of that government land, this portion of land has been excised, has been taken away from the government acquisition for the villagers to use. And usually form part of the Baile in Council. Baile in Council arbitrate or administer over this kind of land. And the title is usually issued out to that village. So meaning that it has been cut off from more or less a free land now to the villagers, and that means that it has been excised.
As built development.
I have mentioned it initially. As built development is that you have built without government consent, without government authorization, without government permit, and you are now coming for regularization. If now government looks at it that yes, it is approvable, it is not going to impact negatively on the surroundings, on the environment, government may consider to issue as built planning permit for such. So as built is something that is existing, that you are now coming to the government to get government face, that you want to regularize it and to be a good boy to the government. So that's what we know as built planning permit or as built.
What happens in a case where you said earlier that if the government considers it approvable? So what happens in a case where it's otherwise?
Yeah, if two things may happen. If it's not severely negatively affecting the environment and the infrastructure, government public infrastructure, government may condone it. As long as it does not affect negatively on the environment, government may consider it for that time being. And if it is other way, that there's no way this thing could no longer be tolerated, government will remove it. So two things that will happen is either to condone it in that state, until the government wants to make use of that place. And when government wants to make use of that place, it will be removed. Or at the initially at instantly, government look at it at this thing, no, it cannot stand here. Government will remove it totally.
The next term, site inspection. Site inspection.
With site inspection, confers that one visit a site, either to do some investigation on that site, to go there and confirm certain things, like maybe you want to go and look at the beacon numbers on that site, maybe it relates to the survey plan you are holding. You are going there to check for the topography of that land and look at other things surrounding that site, whether that site that you are considering for anything, for any planning purposes, for any other thing, we go down well. Or it's more or less, you are also, you might also synonymously say site inspection is like also site monitoring. So this is what we refer to as a site inspection. Confirmation, verification, and the investigation. That's what we do.
Charting.
Charting means when they say you chart a course, that is, you are planning, you are making some marks along the line. But in this regard, we have development master plans. We have district master plans. We have acquisition maps. Right. You now bring a survey plan to me. You want to know the status of that survey plan, whether it is free from all encumbrances. That is, it is free from acquisition, it is free from excision, it is free from. You now want to plot that survey plan on the base map, right? When you plot it using a coordinate that has been supplied on the survey plan, you now see where it locates on these intelligent sheets that we are talking about. Development plan, acquisition map, and things like that. When you now look at it, it may be free in one, and it may not be free in the another one. So that one gives you some a level of information for your own decision to take. That is when you say you plot it, where it's like plotting your survey on an intelligence sheet of government intelligence sheet. That's when you say you are charting it. Just like a surveyor is charting a course through a sea route.
Wow. Full permit.
Full permit. I will take full permit together with a provisional permit.
Okay, that's the last one actually.
I will take the two together.
Okay.
Full permit is when you have complied with all the requirements of government to get a permit. You have your title registered with lands, CFO, consent, deed of whatever, crown title and things like that. Then you have your architectural development plans, you pay your tax, and it has been cleared. All clearances that you need from other MDAs, everything are intact. They look at the drawing, yes, pass, you can go with everything, and you are given the permit. That permit, and when you are getting it, they will stamp for you and emboss this government seal on it and sign off. 2 copies of each of the drawings, architectural, structural, mechanical, electrical, and there's a letter that accompanies it, which is known also as a permit letter. This is a full permit given to you. Versus the provisional. The provisional, the difference between provisional and that one is that your title has not been that perfect. That is, it is not a registered title with the government. Maybe a receipt that you have just been stamped. What they do here is that they will do the same process for you. You have everything, but what you are taking home here is that you take home the provisional letter permit, then you take 1 copy architectural, and it will be stamped provisional planning permit. And that the letter that accompanies it, in it will also be stated that please get your title registered and come back to get your full permit. And you cannot use that provisional for renovation, For demolition permit, these are the requests you may want to have in the course of the life of that building. You cannot come back and do that. So if you want to do that, go and get that title, that your title registered properly, and you now come and get the full permit.
Are there any laws or regulations guiding the operation of LASPPPA and LASPPPA? And if yes, is it available to the public?
Yes, there's a law. The law, if I'm citing it correctly, we call it a 20 law, planning law administration, and for the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit and the Lagos State Building Control Agency 2010 law, which has been rechristened as time goes on in a book of other laws of Lagos State. So that law is there, and the subsequent regulation also came in year 2020 after that. And there you see relationships of the ministry itself, the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority, Lagos State Building Control Authority, and urban renewal, because the law also is also cited as a regeneration, city regeneration law. So these three agencies under the ministry are in that, and you see their relationship there. So what they can do.
Can the public have access?
Yes, and the public can have access. You can buy from the cabinet office, and apart from that, on the online portal of a LASPPPA, you see it also uploaded there. Yes, and they can download. It's downloadable. Okay. A copy on that place.
That's great. Yeah. On what conditions can an application for a plumbing permit be rejected?
Yeah. For example, if the permit is not in compliance with the development plan of that area, it could be rejected. If what it has been issued for is now, and the usage of that place is now different from what it has been approved for, it can also be rejected. Or government also has that right to also consider any planning permit for rejection. But yes, based on the situation at hand, that they feel that this cannot go. Maybe another agency of government also has an interest in here, or maybe there's another plan here that this planning permit is not in sync, or is not speaking in the same realm with this, then it could also be rejected. Yes.
Wow. Okay, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back on the show.
Tpl Property, the hub of professionals in the built environment and the #1 online educative platform on all issues related to land and landed property. At Tpl Property, our aim is to ensure that all Nigerians and non-Nigerians have at the tip of your fingers, free of charge, all information on landed matters. We provide you with all information you need to know about land procurement, land documentation and development, planning permit procurement, building construction, and so on. Join us today for free by subscribing to our YouTube channel, like and follow us on our social media platforms, and check us on our website www.tpl-property.com. Together, we shall make our environment better. Spend and build right.
Hi, welcome back. This is still the Tpl Property Show, and I still have with me in the studio Town Planner Funmi Osifuye, the former General Manager of LASPPPA. Okay, can a planning permit be revoked?
Yes, planning permit can be revoked.
On what conditions?
If overbuilt, it could be revoked.
Can you explain overbuilt?
You are given 2 floors, and when we get the site, we are seeing 4 floors. Or maybe 2 units. Maybe that's 2 flats, and we are seeing 3 flats, 4 flats. Or maybe it was fraudulently secured. Maybe there is a kind of lies that is not open to the government at that time, and it was later unveiled. It could be also be revoked. And again, maybe the use for that area is no longer appropriate. It could also be revoked. And where the use no longer appropriate, then government will pay compensation to the person.
Okay. Okay.
And there are a lot of other things that, for now, that those ones are the ones I can think of now.
So if a planning permit is revoked,
Yeah.
what then happens to the building? For example, overbuilt, like you mentioned,
Yeah.
if the developer builds 6 floors when
Yes.
4 floors was
Yes.
approved, what
Yes.
happens to the building
Yeah,
itself?
the person may be lucky if the height attainment for that place is about 6 floors. Right. Maybe the person initially had that plan that I'm still going to 6, but what I have today is for the 3 floors, and it builds 3 floors, and in the course of it, money comes in now. He has the fund to build more than that. Instead of coming to the state government to perfect his, it just went on and be doing that. Government, we say, okay, there's a redress. The redress that where that place is sealed or notice served on that place and sealed, the person can come for a redress. And if it's still within what could be acceptable for that area, then it will be assented to the person, and on the condition that the person also be penalized.
If not, if not within...
it will be removed. It will be removed.
Wow.
It will be removed. It will be removed.
Okay, so moving on. If a developer wants to start construction after obtaining a planning permit from LASPPPA, what must he do before commencing the development at the site?
Yes, the moment he gets the green card from us, he moves to a LASPPPA and inform LASPPPA, attach that copy of the permit letter as well as the photocopies of the approved building plan and structural plan, and with a letter, and inform and notify LASPPPA of commencement of a LASPPPA will look at those things, and other documents that LASPPPA also feels that the person should have will also be given or forwarded to the owner, and the letter of commencement of a construction, authorization to commence, will be issued to the person, and the person can start with LASPPPA. So the person will not be left alone. LASPPPA should be at the start to the completion of that area. That's why at the end of the day, they get a letter known as I think the letter is usually given from our own hand, from LASPPPA hand to the developer. And inside that letter, you will see all the stages and the certificate of fitness for habitation. Until that certificate of fitness for habitation, the person should not be able to occupy that building.
That's how it should be ideally.
That's how it should be ideally. A lot of people do that.
Okay.
A lot of people do that. It's except that some people will not want to do, and when they are caught, then they now be crying foul of government action over them.
Wow. Okay. What are the conditions for granting a demolition permit for an existing old building?
Yeah. Because we don't want litigations.
Okay.
And I would say that that action has greatly reduced level of litigation. People have, in the past, through the kangaroo means, demolished some buildings that are not theirs. So, when you want to do any demolition, you have to come to LASPPPA for security reasons, security and safety reasons, because it must be supervised. And what you just need is, one, you need a letter addressed to the general manager LASPPPA, and you put the evidence, registered evidence of land title with it. You need to swear to an affidavit with your picture embossed on that affidavit that this land is yours, and you have to indemnify Lagos State Government, LASPPPA and LASPPPA for any future litigation that may arise, because it is your word against ours. So you have to do that. With that one, then you go to site, then pictures will be taken, and it will be processed, and if all these are found correct, letter of for demolition permit will be issued. And before I left, we found that because of all these things, we found that people can be fraudulent. So the site that you are referring to us for the demolition, the picture of that site is also embossed on that letter. It's embossed on that letter. So in future, you cannot tell us. You yourself will also first of all send the pictures to us. You will take us to that site, and our own picture will also be taken. They must be in consonant, and 5 copies will be made. Then we also emboss the pictures on that letter. So in future, if anything now arises in terms of the litigation, we will know our position. He will also know his position.
No, thank you so much for that explanation, sir. What are special applications under planning regulations?
Yeah, I have mentioned this. Special applications are, majority of them are applications that will require additional information, additional requirements, and also planning information. And some of them are, for example, we are talking about a large development, like a roads, like aerodromes. We are talking about tank farms. We are talking about oil and gas. You know, those things are not easily to come by. And we are talking about multi-story levels, buildings. These are special applications that require special attention. In fact, when you want to build this, it is always advisable that you first of all get a clearance letter, a plan information from the ministry. The ministry will first of all do some basic investigation about this and issue you with a plan information, which usually come at no cost. At no cost. So then you now approach a LASPPPA to submit your proposal and your drawings and all that documentation.
What is the difference between a renovation permit and a remodeling permit?
Yeah. Renovation is you just want to change a window. You want to change WC in your toilet, your bathtubs, and you are not dealing with the structural element of the building. But when you are dealing with structural element of the building, you are cutting some walls, you are adding some walls, then you are doing what is known as a remodeling. You are adding. The expansion of the building is becoming bigger than what it used to be. Then that's remodeling. But for the renovation, in fact, when you want to paint your building, it is no renovation. I can paint my building 7 times in a year. It is no innovation. I don't have to come to LASPPPA to do that, to get anything from LASPPPA. But when you are removing the window, right, from louver to Crater Hope kind of, then that is innovation. If you're removing the roofing sheets and putting another one there, that does not involve the roof members, it is renovation. And you just pay a very paltry sum, percentage of the current assessment, maybe 25% of that as administrative charges. That is all.
So if, as a developer, I decide to renovate my house, say, every 2 years, I have to apply for renovation permit for every renovation I do.
As long as you are doing those things I have just mentioned, every 2 years. If you are changing your windows, you are changing your WC and things like that, that's renovation. As long as you are doing that, you are doing renovation, and you'll be given a renovation letter.
Wow. Wow. So what then, where does remodeling come in?
I have told you that remodeling comes from, you are breaking walls. internal walls, you are adding walls outside, you are cutting the beams, you are extending the your columns and things like that. You know, you are dealing with structural members of the building. That's remodeling. You are changing the facade of the building from what you used to. Maybe it's a flat surface, and you are now creating semi hack and semicircle hacks there. Then that's renovation, because you are adding weight to it. And by the time you are doing this, we expect you to give us letter of structural stability from your engineer.
Or it's a 2-bedroom and you're expanding to 3-bedroom or changing.
I am telling you, that is a remodeling. Because your drawing in your plan is changing. But in the renovation, your drawing is not changing. That's why you are being given a letter. Although you might bring a drawing, just one copy of the drawing for file copy inside the file. But what you are doing in essence is not structural in nature. So we just give you a letter as a renovation letter.
Interesting. Wow, it's been a really insightful and educative session with you. Thank you so much, sir. But before we finally round off, my last question for this episode is, would like you to say something about the Tpl property endeavor, you know, give us pieces of advice, and also encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, I've been a lover of Tpl Plus property.
Wow,
yes,
that's
yes,
impressive.
Yes. And there's no time that even some discussions that are outside my discipline, I actually take time to read through them, because I learn a lot from all this.
Wow,
and
thank you.
In fact, you are being seen as a feedback voice to government, even to the people. And I want to say kudos to you. Please keep it up.
Thank you.
I pray that your endeavor will be much bigger than this. In so long a time, you find that you'll be competing with the best in this profession.
Amen. Thank you very much, sir. And again, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
I do.
It's very free. Thank you so much. And that was another mind-blowing session. I trust that you have been educated in simple and clear terms. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. It's free. Yes, very free. Hit the subscribe button, like the video, turn on notifications, and also share this video with friends, family, and colleagues. You can also head on to our social media pages on Instagram and Facebook at Tpl Property. My name is Oiza, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.